Hello everyone, welcome to ITLS Academy. It's a great platform to learn everything from the comfort of your home. Let's start. Let me introduce myself. I'm your mentor, Gitanjali Jha. I'm a content creator, storyteller, visual merchandiser, corporate trainer, and an author. With over 15 years of cross-functional experience across leading brands like H&M, Shoppers Stop, Godrej, and Future Group, I specialize in transforming ideas into impactful stories, whether through the visual design, training programs, or the written words. As a seasoned trainer and mentor, I have conducted pan-India workshops on soft skills, technology, and leadership, touching the lives of employees across retail and service industries. I have also served as a guest lecturer at NIFT and Vogue Institute and contributed to non-profit education initiatives through Unadi. Trust me, working as a volunteer or with a non-profit organization help you broaden your perspective, and it helps you as much as you help others. Try it sometimes. I am also the author of 2 published fiction novels, F Factor and Love Arranged, and hold academic credentials in fashion technology from NIFT, and MBA from NIRM, and certifications in digital marketing from Google and content design course from ECT Delhi. That's about myself. Now let's start with today we will be learning about international human resource management, right? But before that, let's quickly recap what all we have learned till now. We have learned what is human resource management, why it is extremely important, roles and responsibilities of an HR person, what is human capital management, who is an HR practitioner, labor laws in HRM, roles and responsibilities of a frontline manager, right? So, let's quickly learn about international HRM. International Human Resource Management is the management of an organization's human resources across national borders involving a global workforce. Now with digitization, every company aims to reach the global customers, right? So international HRM has become very important part of all the companies because now we have freelancers, people working remotely, plus there are on-site projects which is happening since long, right? So international HRM is very relevant in today's digital world. So if you want to be an HR, you have to learn everything about international HRM, right? It is a vast topic, so we'll be covering it in 2 lectures. It also includes standard HRM functions like recruitment, training, and compensation. So what an HR does, international HR does the same function, but they have to adapt themselves according to the international context. So for example, if you are working in an Indian parent company, but you are also dealing with US employees, you have to learn all about the labor laws of USA, what are the working hours, how are the compensation and benefits done, because you have to match the things from the countries where your employees are working. So as an international HR, your perspective broaden further, where you learn about your parent company, everything about HR, and also the countries where your organization is recruiting and sending various other employees, right? It involves managing cultural, legal, and economic differences among countries. So every country has certain set of labor laws, certain set of working rules, which an international HRM has to follow, right? So some of the key aspects of international HRM include managing expatriates, developing global HR strategies, and complying with multiple labor laws as we discussed earlier. So expatriates is basically employee life cycle where an employee is hired or trained for an international project until the project is completed, right? So HR has to take care of an employee who is working in a country which is not his or her parent country, right? So for example, when I was working in H&M, we were sent for training in London. It was not our parent country. So our team went to London for the first time. So everything was so new for us. So our HR took care of everything. Our stay was booked by coordinating with the London HR team, and we were guided about the tubes, its timing, routes, and we were introduced to the London maps. So all this really helped. Plus you get some additional compensation and benefits, because when you stay outside, your expenses naturally increases when you are staying at home, right? Let's dive. In our previous lecture, we learned about what is IHRM, why it is important, what are the core functions of an IHRM professional, right? Now we will be learning in little more details what are the different approaches to IHRM, right? So the approaches of IHRM are broadly classified into four different perspectives, right? So first one is ethnocentric, second one is polycentric, geocentric, and regiocentric approaches. Now let's learn what are these in little detail to understand it better. Now first one is ethnocentric approach. So what is the strategy for ethnocentric approach? The parent company's corporate culture, policies, and processes are applied universally across all subsidiaries. So there is more control to the parent company. They are diversified, but they want things to be uniform. They maintain a global standards. For example, IKEA. Their products are same worldwide. For example, H&M. Their products are same worldwide. They follow same season guidelines across the world, no matter which corner of the globe they are working, right? You go to London, you go to Sweden, you go to India, in India you can go to different states, you'll find the same product across all the H&M stores, right? Staffing. Key management positions are filled exclusively by parent country nationals, right? So the key management position, they want to keep their control more centralized. So all the key management positions are filled by the parent country nationals to ensure tight controls from headquarters, right? So this is first approach. Let's learn about the other approach. Polycentric approach. Polycentric approach is how it differs from ethnocentric approach. It decentralizes decision making by treating each subsidiary as a distinct national entity with its own policies and procedures. So they follow the policies of the country where they are operating, right? So obviously there is a central policy, but they are more flexible and they adapt quickly, and wherever they are working, they quickly adapt to their labor laws, cultures, and also their hiring happens similarly. Key management positions at different countries are filled by local nationals or host country nationals. The advantage it gives is they are more familiar with the local environment, so training time is lesser. They can adapt quickly because they already know the culture, already know their employees, already know their teams, already know the people. Whereas in ethnocentric approach, the training duration becomes longer because you have to learn about the country where you are going to work, their culture, their values, and still you cannot learn everything in few months what you have been taught from birth. So I feel polycentric approach is more flexible and easily adaptable. What is your views? Then there is regiocentric approach. What happens in regiocentric approach is group countries are categorized into specific geographic regions and they are managed on a regional basis. For example, every shop of a particular brand in Asia Pacific region will be treated similarly. So all the countries which comes in the continent Asia are clubbed as Asia Pacific region. Their policies, their things will be done similarly. For example, Dell works like this. So they have a India operation head, but plus they have a Asia Pacific region head. So they are treated on regiocentric approach. So it depends on your company's requirements, what are their products and services, and how vast and how similar or different they are in different countries. Based on that, you can either choose polycentric approach or regiocentric approach. If the products are more or less similar, services are more or less similar, as in IT companies, regiocentric approach is more, what to say, wise to adopt, whereas a company which has more diverse products, more catered to customer products, more niche products, they need to divide it into polycentric approach, right? You can see the differences in staffing as well. Talent is drawn from within a specific region, and key positions might be filled by parent country nationals or local country nationals or third country nationals, right? So staffing is more flexible than ethnocentric. Key management positions are given to all based on their talent, based on their experience, based on the company's requirement, right? And last one is geocentric approach. So what is the strategy for geocentric approach? It adopts a global mindset. It is truly global in approach, right? Seeking the best practices and talent from all the corners in the world without preference for any single country. So lots of startups are adapting this, especially in the AI agents, AI tools. They are doing it because they have to reach everywhere, and obviously their accessibility is much easier than physical products, right? So in digital world, say for example Meta, it has adopted itself very well to the global mindset. You are in India, you are in the US, you can use it from anywhere, you can plug it in any device, be it your laptop, be it your smartphones, and stay connected, right? So online companies, Google, Facebook, Meta, X, all these adopt geocentric approach so that they can be truly a global company. Now, if you are planning to have your own organization, launch a product or service, you have to think which approach suits you best, because ethnocentric is more rigid, but it may suit to certain set of organization where they want the control to be limited to few people because risk is very higher. Whereas if you are planning to have a digital company, you can plan a geocentric approach. And if you are planning some digital products and some offline products, you can plan something in between like polycentric approach or regiocentric approach, right? So it all depends on what is your product and service, where you want to see your company, right? You cannot just blindly follow one of the approaches. You have to be very thorough and understand which approach works best for you. So staffing is based on a global pool of talent. You can see Google office in India, you can see Google office in any part of the world, and similarly with Amazon, right? Promoting cooperation and resource sharing across different units. It is more democratic in nature, we can say, right? So if you are talented, you can work from anywhere. We will give you nice promotion. So it is very attractive for young generations, right? You can work from anywhere, you can reach clients across the world, and growth rate, career growth is obviously nice. So this approach is often considered the most flexible. But what is the drawback? Geocentric approach can be costly and time consuming to implement, right? Because hiring a global pool of talent is much more time taking than hiring from the locals. But the result is also different, right? So based on discussion with your management, based on your company values, based on your company goals, you have to decide as an HR which approach suits best to the organization you are working for, right? So think of both pros and cons for all the approaches and then implement according to the needs and requirements, right? Now let's learn a little more about recruitment process of IHRM, right? We have already learned about recruitment process, but how it is different in IHRM. So step 1 is determining competencies of HR professionals for international recruitment and selections. So if you want to be an international HRM, you have to understand how you are going to represent your company internationally, how you are going to talk to your potential employees, how you are going to talk to various collaborators across different countries, right? Then there is international recruitment. Before that recruitment, as an HR, you have to do job analysis to determine the knowledge, skills, attitudes and other characteristics in the international post. So suppose your company gets an international project. Now your management team tells we need 5 people to do this project in next 2 months, right? So we need you to help us with recruitment. So what do? You see what is the project, what are the key skills required for that, what are the experience required. You need to understand that project and the requirement of the employees, then only you can hire your employees based on that, right? Now you have to decide whether you have to find someone from the existing employees or you're going to find a new employees, whether you are going to send somebody or you are going to hire from the company where the project is based, right? Then international selection, right? Once you have done the recruitment, you give them offer letter based on their experience, based on the roles. Sometimes it can be contract based, sometimes it can be a permanent job. So it all depends on the company needs and the project needs. For example, we can hire AI agents for certain projects where our employees are not equipped yet, but for the long term we have to plan a training and development program on AI for our employees so that they can do their work independently, right? And stage 4 is evaluation of success in international recruitment and selection. So in an year, maybe if my company has done say 20 projects, how many of them were successful, how many of the employees returned, how many of the employees stayed back, how satisfied they were, how satisfied were the clients, what are the overall returns. So based on that we calculate the success rate of our international projects. If it is successful for the company, we continue it for further years, otherwise we make certain changes to tailor our needs, right? Now we learned about why IHRM is important, what are the core functions. Now learn about the key challenges and considerations, right? What do you think will be the challenges for international HRM? Greater the number of people, greater is the chances of conflict, right? So number 1 is cultural differences. Navigating diverse cultural values, communication styles and beliefs that impact HR practices and employee relations, right? So you have to deal with cultural differences because people are from diverse backgrounds, they have been raised differently, their education system is different, their values are different. So how do you navigate them to make them connected and work together as a team? That is number 1 challenge for an international IHRM person, right? Then legal and regulatory differences. Learning about labor law is one thing, but handling the labor officers, labor unions is a altogether different picture, right? Complying with a complex web of different labor laws, tax regulations and government policies in each country of operations require very thorough understanding of all these so that there is no conflict, right? So as a HR person, if you are planning to go into IHRM, you have to learn something new every day because market is changing very fast, and when it is international market, every country where you are planning to work, where your employees are working, where your organization is planning to expand, you have to keep updating yourself. So if you want to go for a career where you have a great learning, go for IHRM. It will give you all the challenges you require in the world, right? Then there is communication barriers, overcoming language and cultural differences, and other communication challenges that may lead to isolation and misunderstanding. Most of the European countries understand English, so it is easy. But when your company is expanding in countries where English is not their first language, say for example Germany or Sweden, which have very excellent work culture, but the understanding of English is little lesser than when you consider London or US. So you need to learn Swedish, you need to learn German before approaching the consultants there, before talking to them about how employees function there, what are the labor laws. So you have to be very, very adaptable. Every time it is not easy to learn so much together, because you have to finish your work as well, right? But if you manage to learn and come out of that challenge, trust me, your career growth is going to be very, very fast, and you are going to reach new heights. But sometimes what happens when you have to work in a country where you don't have friends, like if you have not gone with a team, you are working alone with new people, new timings and new culture, you miss your family. So you have to take these factors as consideration when you are sending your employees, because sometimes isolation leads to depression, negative thinking, and may affect work and mental health. As an HR, your responsibility is to get the work done as well as take care of your employees. So consider these challenges before preparing your employees for a new company, right? And obviously there is cost and complexity. Managing the increased cost and complexity associated with international assignments, such as higher pay, relocation, and potential failure rates for expatriates. Sometimes what happens, an employee has gone for a project, they have done it successfully, and they get another project through their contacts, through their new friends, through their networks, and they are like, okay, I don't want to come back. So you have to consider these factors as well, right? So it may lead to some loss of money for the company, but you cannot stop sending your employees, because that is the need of the hour, right? But obviously international projects require higher risk and higher cost, but if it becomes successful, the result is also in favor of the company. So as I explained earlier, IHRM is much riskier than domestic HRM, but it offers you greater learning, broader perspective, and more challenging career, right? So let's explore it further. Check IHRM policies of your organization and find out which approach they follow, right? As I told, different companies, different organizations, based on their products and services, based on their growth plans, long-term, short-term goals, different approach suits different companies. So which approach is followed by your company? Try to find out how you will adapt to it, which approach you think is the best one among the four, and why. Discuss your views with an HR to understand it further. Talk to employees who have gone on international project, talk to HR who have recruited them. In that way you will learn practical considerations of an international IHRM, right? Now we'll be learning more about IHRM in our next lecture. Follow ITLS Academy on different social platforms and download our app on Google Play. Subscribe to our channel to continue your learning. Thank you for watching this video. Keep learning. Call us at our helpline for any doubts, and you can always comment on our comment section. See you soon. Have a nice day.